it's not all about him. I thought that he was the one. Breaking up is never easy, and when you are a teenager, it is even harder. They say teenage love is not serious and does not last forever, although I did not believe it at the time. They seemed to be right. Summer was only 3 months away. We had so many plans, so many dreams. But a global pandemic happened, and it changed my life forever. It was news to all of us. Online school, isolation, the virus, and what affected me the most, passes. Everything would have been fine if he was from the same city. We would probably have seen each other in the store in the chocolate department. Oh, how he loved chocolate! He could not decide for hours which one to choose and eventually bought at least 3 different kinds. However, that was not the case. He lived in another city. Not overly distant, but still we could not see each other for months. It is fair to say that it is difficult for teenagers. We used to spend all our time together. The pandemic has completely changed our lives. At first, everything seemed great. We had video calls every day and sent each other messages for hours. Later, life took off. Homework took up most of our time, and we no longer had time for each other. Oh, why all of this needed to happen now? Why all of this needed to happen to me? Those 2 questions kept running through my head. We eventually broke up. I really thought he was the one. Others thought so too. We were often told that we were soulmates. I could picture my life with him. Our future seemed so bright. Still, that did not seem to be the case. The fact that he was no longer mine struck me hard. I spent my days crying alone in my room and listening "Someone Like You" by Adele. No one could cheer me up, not my friends, family, funny videos, and not even my pet. I felt so miserable and lonely. Mom was very worried about me. I stopped eating and had no will for anything. The breakup also affected my grades in school. They got worse than ever. I thought the world had stopped because of him, because he was not there anymore. When I look at it now, I realize how stupid it was. To love is beautiful, but it is not worth so much suffering. It was already the end of the school year when I finally came to my senses. I tried really hard to make my grades better. Finally, I managed to force myself to do it. Even though it was hard, it was totally worth it. I needed to think about my future, and having good grades is a way to come one step closer to my dream university. I was really proud of myself when my teacher told me that I would have B in math. It was a huge success for me. Studying distracted me from the thought of my breakup. All that learning made me very tired. For that reason, the arrival of summer made me quite happy. Warmer and longer days, ice cream, and rest. Who would not look forward to it? I decided to dedicate myself to the things I love and make good use of the time in front of me. It made me very happy to do things I used to enjoy, and I did not have time for that when I was in a relationship. I realized how important it is sometimes to put yourself first and do things you truly enjoy. I started playing the piano again. Playing had a very relaxing effect on me. I found comfort and understanding in the sad notes. In the beginning, I played exclusively such melancholy songs. With the sound of the notes, I perfectly portrayed my mood. Later, I devoted myself to learning new songs. I finally learned to play songs that had been on my wish list for a very long time. I devoted myself to studying Chopin's difficult compositions and occupied my thoughts with them. Every other night, I would hold a mini concert for my family. They were very happy about it. After dedicating myself to playing for myself, I finally overcame my nervousness and managed to play in front of others without a mistake. I was very proud of myself. I started to discover new composers and fall in love with their compositions. Playing was a great way to take advantage of free time. I was doing something useful for my development, and at the same time I was enjoying myself and relaxing. I really like the feeling when I can use my fingertips to produce something as great and amazing as, for example, for Elise. In those moments, I feel very powerful and joyful. I decided to hang out with my family more. Due to the danger of contracting the virus, I could not see my grandparents for a very long time. That made me very sad. Luckily, we found a cure for that problem. We decided to go for walks. We walked the nearby woods and roads. I was very happy that we could see each other that way, at least for that short period. Because we spent time outdoors and in the fresh air, we were not so afraid of infection. Of course, since we had not seen each other in a long time, we needed to make up for it all. So, we had a lot of stories and gossip to tell each other. Spending time with the people I love has greatly improved my mood. We were lucky that the situation with the virus slightly improved in the summer, so we all traveled to the seaside together. There, we really had a lot of time to spend with each other because we were together 24/7. Fortunately, the virus bypassed us, and for that reason it paid off to gamble with our chances of infection and go on a vacation. So, we all managed to relax and forget about the not so nice situation in the world. I really like reading. It's a hobby that takes up a lot of my time, and for that reason I have a rule that I am not allowed to read during the school year, unless reading for school, of course. I neglected that hobby during the relationship as well. For that reason, I had a lot to make up for. I started reading Maria Jurić Zagorska books, which had been gathering dust on the bookshelves in my room for quite some time. There were many such examples. For that reason, I decided to dedicate myself to reading. My friend and I went on a book clearance sale at our nearby library and bought about 40 books. I have already read a good part, and there are those whose time is yet to come. Since the temperature was very high during the summer, my favorite thing was to sit under the air conditioner and read. I read Harry Potter books for the third time. They are definitely the books that I will never get bored of. Since I first read them when I was very young, they bind me to childhood memories. For this reason, reading these books aroused very positive emotions in me and removed the sadness that wrapped around my heart. When I am at home, I spend most of my time in my room, so with time I got a bit bored of it, and I decided that I would redecorate it. One day, I went to a nearby craft tool shop, and I bought the sandpaper, brushes, and paint. When I came home, I made a plan of how everything would look like at the end. I started repainting the furniture. That took me much more time than I thought it would. After I finished with that, I recycled the old desk. I fixed some damage and repainted it. When I finished painting all the furniture, I moved it to fit better in the room. Then the fun part came. I made new decorations for my room. I do not like it when all the decorations are from the store. I like to have a part of me in my room. This was time well spent because I did something for myself and I distracted my mind from other things. When I finished, I was so happy with how it turned out, but I have some small things to do to finish it completely. I still need to paint the walls and make shelves, but that one thing can wait a little bit longer. Because of a smaller amount of people affected by the coronavirus in Croatia, I was finally able to celebrate my birthday. I could not celebrate it on my actual birthday, so I needed to postpone it for a month later. The day of the party was so beautiful. The sun was shining, but it was not too hot. It was just right. I celebrated it with a few of my closest friends. Spending time with my friends and having a small party was exactly what I needed at the time. Music was playing from speakers, we were having fun, dancing, singing, and playing games. I forgot about all the sadness and dull times. They stayed till late at night. When they all left, I talked to my parents about it. It went so well, and I was so happy about it. I hadn't had that much fun for a long time. The other day, my family members came to wish me a happy birthday. I finally saw some of my family members that I did not see for so long because of the current situation. We had a family reunion after more than half a year. After lunch, we talked about everything that happened to us during the pandemic time. Because it was summer and I had no more school obligations, I found the time to watch movies and series. Usually, I love to watch them almost as much as I like to read books, but I also have a rule that I should not start watching a series or a movie serial while school lasts. I can watch a movie or two, but not the full movie serial or a TV series. If I started to watch something like that, I would spend all of my free time on that. But since I had more free time over the summer, I started watching all the Marvel movies in the right order with my mother and sister. Those movies were on my need to watch list for quite a long time, but I could not find the time to watch 23 movies. When I finally watched them all, I was surprised at how good they are. I watched one movie every evening and I did not regret it at all. Now, I am a really big Marvel fan and I was surprised how easily I became obsessed. I always liked movies like that: Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean, and other similar movies, because this kind of fantasy movies are my short escape from my current reality. Summer has passed and the pandemic still continues. It certainly had a big impact on my life. I am happy to be able to start a new school year live. Hanging out with friends is something I'm really looking forward to. I hope I will have enough free time to do the things I love. Maybe I will discover something new that I will be able to dedicate myself to next summer. If nothing else, there are always a lot of books I can read. Even though it has been a long time and I have gotten over it, I am still not ready to get into a new relationship. At least, not until the pandemic is over. There are many things I want to do first. Finding out who I truly am is definitely one of those things. Setting out goals and accomplishing them. Doing things I want to do. Another breakup like the one I had would be a big obstacle in chasing my dreams. So, maybe it's not all about him.